I see a lot of staffing issues in dental offices lately. That's been for some time now. Everyone is having a hard time finding staff. When we take an office over, they're a little bit happier because they don't have the stress of handling these tasks because we've removed that from their plate. There were many things when I was starting off that I just did not know that I had to do. You want to consult with an attorney, builders, and make sure that the needs for your state are being met, and you want to make sure that your contract that you have for your clients is a legal binding contract.
We make dental billing and insurance easier to understand. Subscribe to stay updated and help us grow the channel.
How are you seeing the workforce in dentistry? Like, what's your take? Have you seen a lot of turnover in the offices that you're talking to? Are they staying because the load is taken off? Like, what do you see with workforce?
I see a lot of staffing issues in dental offices lately. That's been for some time now. I think that there have been lots of staffing issues. There's usually when we take an office over, the staff will tend to stay, the front desk staff, because we've removed that from their plate. And now they're a little bit happier because they don't have the stress of handling these tasks. But it's all over. Everyone is having a hard time finding staff. And I think that's why outsourcing is really becoming more prominent.
It really makes me sad. I mean, I love the industry. I can't imagine people wanting to leave, but I get it. And between you and me, we probably trained hundreds of people. Right. And no matter what, even the best support, sometimes they're just like, I'm done. I'm not going to live my life. One girl said to me, she said, I have more to do than just stay on hold. And I was like, I get it. I totally get it. So when you started the company, though, you probably didn't imagine that all you would do was just be on hold. I mean, what made you say, I want to do this full time?
Because I love the detective part of it. I love being the dental insurance detective. I love finding out the why. I love when a rep on the phone tells me that the claim was paid, but it's still open on my end. Well, tell me when it was paid. I don't just let it go. I have to know when, how, why, what's the payment number, how was it paid, where address did it go to? I have to find out everything about that claim. And I just love doing that. I wish I could tell you why. It's just something that I just love to do. A total dental nerd, I guess, if you want to call me that, but I love doing that.
When you started your company, though, and let's talk a little bit about the entrepreneur side. It is lonely sometimes. Do you have a team? I'm sure they're remote. Like, how do you work all day by yourself? I think that's a huge transition. Some of our manager colleagues don't realize, like, you really are all alone all day.
I have no problem doing that. I don't. I have no problem. I put the earbuds in.
Yep.
But nobody told me that in my earbuds and just post away or at work claims or I just have a great time doing that. And if I do get lonely, it's one of my employees, I'll shoot a text or something. Hey, let's meet for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
We'll get on Google Chat and just meet for a little bit and
have Dental Revenue Network up on the side too and say hi over there. I know you do.
Exactly.
But that is something that when you're starting out on your own, there's so many little things. Like, was there anything that really surprised you about being your own person now? Or was there something you were like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I needed to get that? I mean, for some people, it's I need to get what kind of insurance? I need to get this. And the cybersecurity insurance has been a hot topic, like, because it's not cheap. But when you're dealing with personal information as an entrepreneur, guess what? This is what you have to do. So what were the kind of gotcha moments where you're like, I need to do this, this, and this?
For me, it was having remote employees in different states.
Yeah.
That, I had to register with that state for tax purposes. Just not something I knew, praise my accountant, right? I mean, thank God for him. But I just I did not know I had to do that. There were many things when I was starting off that I just did not know that I had to do. I mean, I knew I had to get an EIN number. I knew, a lot of things that I had to do, but that tax thing got me. I did not know that I had to register with each state for each employee. So it was not a big deal. There had been no payroll yet, so everything was fine. But that just that got me. I didn't know that. So yeah, that was it for me. Otherwise, I think I was pretty well prepared. I met with an attorney. He gave great advice, and told me what I needed, did my contract for me,
Mhm.
and we just
That,
got up and going.
that's important though, that the whole contract thing, because I see sometimes on the remote Facebook group, does anybody have a contract I can use? I'm taking on my first client. It's like, what? Like,
Mhm.
why should they not do that, Michelle?
Right.
Why should they not do that?
They should not do that because you do not want to just have a blanket contract that someone else is using. You don't know where they got it from. You want to consult with an attorney, builders, and make sure that the needs for your state are being met. Make sure you explain what your goals are, who your employees are, where they're at, if you have employees. There are just so many things, and you want to make sure that your contract that you have for your clients is a legal binding contract.
Hmm. Hmm. We, on our last call, so we went over the fact that if you're dealing with government contracts, whether it's Medicaid, Medicare, or Medicare Advantage, there's liabilities for the billing company. So you've got to bake that into your contracts. You also have to have something in there about what if they ask for, the other companies ask for money back. Do you have any culpability in that? Do you have to pay on that? And this is something that most of the billing companies have had to find out, unfortunately. So we had a lot of conversations about that. But yeah, you can't just use someone else's. I mean, especially if they're not doing any Medicaid billing and you are, your Medicaid billing contract is very different. And then the whole cybersecurity thing, which is just
Is another, yeah, another ball of wax.
avenue.
Yeah,
Yeah. And so are your employees or are they contract workers?
they are employees.
Okay. All right. Now that's different because I know a lot of companies use contract workers. Is there a reason why you decided to do employee?
There is, because I want to make sure that everything is done to the best possible standard. I don't want somebody to come in and say, well, this is the way I've always done it, because quite honestly, I don't know where they learned that from. I want to make sure that everything is right. And that's just how it has to be. So yeah, we had to go W-2 because of that. They would not classify as a 1099, because if you're a 1099, you just kind of come in and do your job the way you know how to do it and use your own skills, which is fantastic. And I'm not saying that there are not many people who have extremely terrific skills. Just I want everything done like by the law.
Well, and your way, right? So if you require them to do it your way, that's pretty much employment,
Right.
not contract. And
Right.
so you have onboarding that you put them through and all of it, and they're using your equipment and software. And see, that's another thing too. I think a lot of companies, they don't provide that, and there's an opportunity for error there. And some of the people that we know in the industry who maybe they don't have a lot of experience and they don't realize that you can't just use this software because it's not HIPAA compliant versus this software. And so that's a huge liability for a lot of the dentists. And that's something that I think a lot of them are finding out, unfortunately, by trial and error, because unless they talk about it amongst themselves, they really don't know. They're trying to keep track of everything, these poor doctors.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
So what if somebody wanted to come and work for a billing company? Let me put you on this because I know I get asked all the time when I'm on the road, I want to go out on my own. I want to do this. Do you know anybody who's hiring? And I honestly just say to, go to the remote sourcing group and see who you like, who you gel with, and all of that. But even then, that's not really a good option because not everybody that's a great billing company is active on there. Like a lot of them lurk, right? So if somebody wanted to come and work for your company, what qualities are you looking for in that type of person?
I am looking for someone who can work actually from home alone.
Okay.
Not because there are many people that need to have people around them. They look for that social aspect of being at work. So that is, a must have. High speed internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I have actually a quiz on my website. They have to answer every question. They're all required questions on my website. If you're answering those questions, then I know that you know what you're doing.
Okay.
So everybody has to fill one out.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
And I never knew this about all of the billing companies. You all have your own assessment. And I guess you had to develop it on your own, right? Because did you hire somebody without it at first, without an assessment, and then realize, oh, I needed one? Or did you know going in you needed one?
I knew going in.
Okay. All
I
right. You
knew
wanted to
billing.
make sure they knew at least what you knew, to a certain level. I remember talking to one billing company owner, and she was like, yeah, after two people told me they knew what they were doing and I'd work with them, she'd known them for a long time, the same area. So just because they worked in their office for so long, she thought they knew what they were doing. And then she realized she didn't understand secondary insurance. Like she had to explain it. And then she started to realize, oh my gosh, she's been writing off this for the office she's been in for 10 years. Like, that's kind of crazy. So
Yeah, that is
yeah,
kind of
so just
crazy.
just the fact that they've been working for 10, 15 years, that's not enough for you.
No, it's just not. It's
Okay.
not.
All right.
Right.
And what about the people who don't pass the assessment? Do they ever come back to you and are like, hey, that I give it another try or anything like that? Do you ever see a repeat person come back?
I haven't as of yet. I've not. Then again, we've only been since July of last year.
Mhm.
So, not just still kind of with my own company,
Yeah.
still kind of new to the game. But I've not had anyone come back, but I have had lots of people tell me that it was too hard. I can't.
But you found people to pass it, so it
Right.
must be.
I did. I found people to pass it. It's not, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I pick and choose too from a lot of different people.
Mhm.
Like there are different people that I work with in the dental billing community or that I'm friends with, and they'll offer me, some information. Hey, ask this question or that. So this was not just a solo effort that it's actually just my assessment. I've had other people help me with that assessment that are in DRN, so that we could put together a really good assessment and just weed out those people who say they can do it, but really can't.
And I think that for somebody who's listening who wants to get into dental billing, either as a biller or work or owning their own company, the fact is like you might not be at a certain level and you think you are. And that is humbling. I mean, it's humbling
Right.
for everybody. I mean, I remember walking into certain meetings with insurance companies and realizing I don't know these terms they're throwing around. I think there's always, even if you get to the top of your office, there's always going to be another level somewhere where you're a newbie. So, don't take it as
No.
they don't know what they're asking. Like there might legitimately be something you've never come across.
Right.
And this is very common in other offices. So,
Everyone learns every day.
yeah.
I learn every day. I'm still learning every single day. So we all are. And there's nothing, to be embarrassed about as far as that is concerned.
If you learned something new today, subscribing is the best way to support the channel and keep learning with us.
Would you like to hear more? Follow the link for the full episode.